Hi everyone, my name is Kat, or the Fairy Librarian, and welcome back to a new video. Today I will be doing my May TBR slash MBR. I don't really have like a definitive line of this is where TBR ends and MBR starts, but like the first few books that I'm going to mention will almost definitely be read, and then as the list goes on it becomes less and less likely. But there's not a clear like, okay, these will get read and these are maybes. It's just fine. I'm over explaining this. So let's get into the books. I have one rollover from April, and that is Lopfona by Otessa Moshfegh. This is a literary fiction book set in a medieval inspired village called Lopfona, and we follow the son of the. And in this village, it's medieval, so religion plays an important part. And the people in power use religion to stay in power and things like that. And that's what the book about. It is very literary. There are some horror elements in it as well. But I can't say I'm enjoying it, but I appreciate what it's doing. So I will continue this in May. The second book that I have is Dictator by Robert Harris. This is the third book in the Kikuro trilogy, which is a historical fiction trilogy about Kikuro. This is a reread for me. It's one of my favorite series of all time. And at the beginning of the year, Alan over at the Library of Alexandria did a read-along for this series. And I decided, you know what, this is the perfect time to reread it. So I read the first book in January, went well. Second book in February, went well. This book was supposed to be read in March, but that didn't happen. And didn't happen in April either because it was TBR Blitz. And for TBR Blitz, only sci-fi fantasy books count. So it's gonna happen in May. It has to happen in May. I really love this series, so I'm excited to reread it. Sticking to the theme of books for read-alongs that I should have read in May but I didn't, is The Bone Chart Daughter by Andrea Stewart. I have absolutely no excuse for this one. I mean, I have no excuse why I didn't read Dictator in March either. But this one I also could have read in April because it is fantasy. And for TBR Blitz, we need a debut book, which this is a debut. So I have truly no excuse why I didn't read this. But I didn't. But I'm very excited for this. This was for a read-along hosted by Stephanie over at Stephanie's Bookverse. Said I would later read this one in March, and then the second book in April, and then in May they're going to read the third book, which was released in the second half of April. But yeah, I've heard really good things about this. It's fantasy, but with some sci-fi elements and some horror elements. The main perspective that we follow is Lynn, who is the daughter of the emperor, and she has memory loss, and her father refuses to teach her the magic until she has her memory back. And the magic system in this book is bone shard magic, which means that if you have a bone shard of someone, you can control them, which is what the emperor does. I'm really excited about this. for good things. The next book on my list is Where Shadows Lie by Allegra Pescatore. This is the first book in a Gaslight epic fantasy series featuring a disabled queer main character. The setup is the chosen one has died. What do we do now? And we follow the sister of the chosen one, who maybe is gonna take her brother's place. So I'm really excited about this. I got a copy from the author herself, so thank you to them. But I'm really excited about this. The next book on my list is The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. If you've been following me for a while and watching my vlogs for a while, you know the story behind this book. I've been wanting to read this book for a while, but every time it was something that stood in the way. And then when I finally was able to start it, I like read the first, I don't know, 30 pages, and it was due at my library. And just when I was about to renew it, I got an email that someone had placed a hold, so I couldn't renew it, and I had to soft DNF it and return it, which was sad. But now I have it back, so I'm gonna read it. Now I can. I really liked the writing style in this, at least from like the first few pages. I don't think I need to tell you what the Bridgerton series is about. It's Regency romance, and I want to give it a go. I'm excited. The next book that I have is The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett. This is the second Discworld book. I read the first book in February, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. But even the fans of Discworld say that the first few books are among their least favorites, and it gets better from there. So I'm excited to get to the really good stuff, but I'm a publication order type of person. So The Light Fantastic is next. I'm excited. These are very short and they read very quickly. So yeah. The next book is also a very short and quick read, and that is the second album of Marie of the Dragons. This is an adult fantasy comic series. I read the first album in March and I enjoyed it, but it was very much like a setup for the rest of the series. So I'm excited to continue on. It's about Marie, who's an assassin, and she gets hired to slay some dragons. So I'm excited. And then the last book that I have for you today is kind of embarrassing that it's on here. Or not necessarily this book, but just the world as a whole. Because I've been wanting to start the Cosmere for so long, but I never have. And the specific book that I want to start with that changes throughout time depending on my mood. But I've been wanting to start the Cosmere for so long and I never do. So I put Warbreaker on my list because Warbreaker is the one I'm feeling right now. On Sanderson's website, he says that Warbreaker is a good entry point if you like romance. And I'm in a bit of a romance mood, but not a true romance mood. Like, it's hard to describe. Um, but I want to give it a try. And I should just read a Cosmere book. It's not that hard, but I just never end up actually reading it. And it's just becoming ridiculous by this point. So I just need to get over myself and read it. Warburg Crystal Sinies, because it's a standalone, at least for now. But yeah. So that is the TBR slash MBR. If you've read any of these books, hype them in the comments. And that was the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again in another video later. Bye.